Welcome, everybody. This is the Geek and I podcast. My name is John. We are joined today by co-hosts. And if you were here for the pre-show, we talked about his beard a lot. So he's the guy known as the Beard. My buddy Jeff. Jeff, how are you doing this week?
Doing excellent. How you doing, man?
I am good. And we are joined by our special guest this week. You've seen him on HBO. You've seen him on video. You've seen him in the movies. He is an actor, a musician, if you follow him on Facebook. He does it all. Mr. G. Larry Butler.
Hey.
How you doing, sir?
I am still breathing, thank you. So
that's always a plus when the toes are leave the upright position in the morning.
Yeah, I want to be the last man standing in my generation. So still working on it.
Okay, so which generation do you consider yourself?
I am a boomer. There's not many of us left.
And technically, what age group is? Because I see it changing. It changes all the time. Sometimes this is you're a boomer. Sometimes you're a Gen Xer. I mean, I've gone from X to boom. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times in the last few years, because nobody can decide what the dates are. What is the date of a boomer?
I can relate to that, but I think it's pretty well defined for my generation. It's anybody born right after World War II up until I think 1964. But I know they've expanded it quite a bit. But I was born in 1949.
That's what I always went by. Because I'm 69, and I don't know, is that like in there like a blank space? Like we're the nothing generation?
Oh, between 64 and 69?
We're the Pepsi generation. Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's a great question. I have no idea what fills that blank up. There's a lot of people walking around with blank stares on their faces. Maybe that's where they come from.
Yes, they're all 65 to 73, and we're just
now. See, I'm in the middle.
The Walking Dead.
Are you really?
See, I'm 65.
You one of those?
Born. So
just made it. Okay.
Yep.
So you were born in what? 68?
65.
65. Okay.
John's 69, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 69.
You're on the cusp.
I'm 65.
Yeah, so you don't have a totally blank look on your face, but you're well hidden.
Nah,
behind your.
I was going to say, how could you tell if there's a blank stare in there? Got those eyes and. So Larry, what have you been up to in the two? Well, it's like I would say the last time we spoke to you was December. Oh no, that wasn't you. That was Santa. We had spoken to you, I think, in September of.
Was it 2020?
September of 20.
Well, COVID, I think,
what have you been doing since then?
Oh my God, it's just amazing. I haven't worked so much in my life. During COVID, a lot of people were paying cash if you just come on the set, so I took advantage of that. But, it was scary times. But we had to observe some sort of protocol, of course. But I got very lucky. So I started doing, some guy contacted me, and he had something called Burn in Hell or something like that. I can't even remember. I don't have my biography in front of me. But it was something about going to hell. And he says, I'm going to have you read for me right now, and I'm going to cast you on the spot if I like you. So he did. and he gave me like $800 just to do this part in a movie about going to hell. I was one of the demons in hell, and so that started it off. That was the start of COVID, and then after that, I started getting all kinds of things. Everybody in town was making a movie because all the studios shut down, so the independents took advantage of it. So I must have done about 30 projects in 2 years, and Journey to Hell. There it is. Thank you. So I'm one of the demons in hell. I'm probably in that master shot there. And it was really interesting, and it was kind of based on a book that was written in 1609, and now it's a movie. So it's a long turnaround time on that one, but it was enjoyable, and they had a lot of famous people that were in hell, like Hitler, Mussolini, people like that, actors playing those parts. So it was a lot of fun to do. And so that was just one of many. Some of the other ones I did was The Bleeding Dark with a director up in Oregon. And so some of the names aren't coming to me at the moment. I don't have a list in front of me, but another one was Compatible. Who was it? I can't remember.
I have a list of all your movies.
Yeah. You can just tell me. Why don't you call them out and see what I say about each thing?
All right. You want to go from oldest to newest, or do you want to go from?
No. Start from the newest. Like 2020. There's a lot of them that haven't come out yet, but they're done. They're wrapped. I did something called Obscura with Jerry Giangelo, and another one with Jerry Giangelo called Dead River. It's a Western. And talk about a beard, Jeff. I had a huge beard. And man, that was amazing. It was such a great movie. I love doing it. I haven't done a Western in probably 30 years. And so now they're coming around again. They're very popular. But this one is amazing. And wait till you see it. So some of the other ones I did let's put on my glasses. I wrote some down, but you could just call them out to me if you want. But I did some locally. I did some in Colorado. I did some in Arizona. I did some in Nevada. I did some in New Mexico. I started one with Jonathan Moody back in Virginia. We haven't finished it yet. And I also went back did the start of Pan Man 2, believe it or not. Pan Man 2 has been discovered by somebody named Elvis the Alien. I've been after the director, producer, Tim Larry for 11 years to try to, distribute it because he didn't do anything with it. And so finally, Elvis the Alien discovered it and just loved it. So now about 10,000 fans are all talking about it and I'm wanting it. And I told Tim, you've got a franchise on your hand. We've got to get that out there and make another one and package it up, 2-disc deal. So he's interested now, finally. So we've got Kato Kalin back on board. I think Mr. Lobo is going to be in it. William Winkler's probably going to be in it. You folks probably could be in it. So, you just come back to Massachusetts or just do it from there, do your podcast. But anyway, we'll talk about it later. But some other ones I've done are a lot with Sean C. Phillips. Are you familiar with him? He's done a lot lately.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, he's done Amityville, Shark House, one of my favorites because I play an Irish priest with an almost authentic Irish accent. And Amityville Bigfoot, Woods Witch, Mistletoe Massacre with Lauren Francesca and Sean. And also The Evil 3, which is a fan-based film out of Wisconsin. I flew back there. Actually, Illinois. And so this guy did a fan film about the 3 most murderous villains in history. I think one of them is Leatherface, and the other two you're gonna have to tell me because it's been a while. But um, I think the guy from Halloween, um, and as the other guy, they're all in prison together, and then they all break out together. So I'm a deputy sheriff. I play actually a good guy in this. Yeah, so
now,
it's
what
gonna.
is that like? You normally don't play people on the good side of the right side of the law.
No, I not squeaky clean people, but I do play people who appear to be innocent. Later on, you find out that they're evil, and that's what I love to. That's kind of I'm typecast like that. I play priests that are evil and things like that, or people trust, and then they find out I'm about to do something like that in the near future. That's something called Portuguese Bend. I don't play a priest in that. I won't say too much about it, but
Right.
Anyway,
I got a couple here that I'm familiar with, just from other friends that are actors, and we have Alien Danger 2 with Raven Van Slender.
yes, that's a franchise. It's made by Bill Victor Aryukon. He started acting just a few years ago, and he's already rising through the ranks quite rapidly. And I've been in a lot of his movies. He produces as well as direct. He doesn't direct. The director is James Balsamo,
Right.
And so he produces. Bill does, and so he's got a lot in the works. We've done a lot together. But this franchise has taken off. It's winning all kinds of awards. It's kind of a spoof on Star Trek,
Right.
and he's a big Trekkie, and he goes to conventions, and he thought, I'm going to do my own. So, and it's kid friendly. There's no profanity in it, and so kids love it and families love it. It's good for the whole family, and so right now it's really doing well on the festival circuit, and so I enjoy doing stuff with both of those guys. And I did another one called Appetite for Sin, and that was produced by Joe Kelly and directed. Oh my God, my mind is going blank, unfortunately, but you could probably see it there. And it's been a rough day. Let's just say
Matthew Vinia, is that how you say it? Vinia?
Vanaha, yeah.
Vanaha, okay, Vanaha, yeah, and that has Bill in it also.
That's right. Yeah, he's been in a lot of them. He and I were in Obscura.
You've been a busy beaver, man.
I'm a what? 52er?
So you've been a busy beaver.
I've been a busy beaver. Yes, I have. It seems like for every wrinkle, I get another movie. But what impresses me the most about the miracle of this business, I've gone 40 years and never done anything like this. I got cast with Julia Roberts in a TV series called Gaslit. I got to play her doctor. So it blew my mind, and I got the part. And I actually got to touch her because I was wrapping her. I was consoling her, and I was looking her right in the eye, and she's amazing to work with. So I did that. That's already out. It came out last year. Yeah. So you saw the doctor.
It was really good.
Yeah. Yeah, I was impressed with her performance. She was the executive producer on it. So she was
when you have a star the size of Julia Roberts and you show up on set that day, does anybody? Because I was in I can't even remember what the name of it was. It was Evangeline Lilly and what's his name from Saturday Night Live? Anyway, it was they come up to you and they say, okay, this is just if you want to say hi, just wave. Do not approach.
Oh, do not approach. Yes, I love that one. I have a story to tell you about that. But anyway, let me finish this one. I'm diabetic, so I need to eat. It was 7 o'clock
What's
in the
that?
morning. I'm telling about myself here. About I was always embarrassed to talk about it, but why not? I mean, because it happens. I get to set. They don't feed me because it's COVID. No crafty. So I get, and then I brought some. I always bring jerky or something to chew on because I have to eat. I need protein for my memory, and especially as a diabetic.
Yeah.
So I get in my trailer, and put my stuff down, and somebody knocks on my door. Come on, you got to go right now. And they put me in this golf cart and take off for the set, which is a million miles away. I get there and I realize I don't have my food, so I have nothing to eat. Julia comes on the set. Hi, I'm Julia. How you doing? And she's very friendly. We chat about her family and my family and stuff for a while, and then we start doing it. Right, I have 7 lines. I got 5 of them out. I couldn't get the other 2, so I'm like, I'm completely embarrassed, mortified. And I said, Julia, I'm really sorry, but I'm diabetic. I have not had anything to eat this morning. It was a 7 a.m. call, so I left home at 5 a.m. to get there. And I didn't eat before I left. So she says, everybody, get something to eat for this guy right away. And she's cussing up the storm, and they're all scattering, but not at me. She's not mad at me because she's mad at them for not feeding me. So then they bring me my food. I take 5 or 10 minutes, eat the food, and then I'm fine. I just got them all out. But you got to feed your actors, folks.
Right.
Anybody out there, you got to know. And it's got to be protein. I learned this, and I know I probably talked your ear off already about this, but I learned in theater. Everybody has a pocket full of peanuts. They go on stage, pocket full of nuts. Because your adrenaline from nervousness will rob your brain of adrenaline. It'll rob your brain of memory. So as an actor, I know.
I agree with you on that.
So anyway, I always have a fit because when I go on these young directors, independent films, they don't have any protein. It's just chips and pretzels and crackers and shit. Excuse my language, but nothing that I can eat. And so I always take my own stuff. But this time, I got I wasn't able to get my food, so I left it in the trailer. Anyway, so that's what happened. And then at the end of it, she hugged me. So I'm like, I can die now.
Yeah.
So Julia Roberts
his shirt again.
Never got a picture with her.
I heard she was a sweetheart and a half.
Well, she is now. I don't know if she was in the early days, but high maintenance probably. But now she's fantastic. She was executive producer, so it was all on her shoulders, the whole production. And but anyway, it's come and gone. It's all about the Nixon years. She played Margaret Mitchell, the wife of John Mitchell, who was the aide of Nixon, and she had the biggest mouth in town. And she was telling everybody Nixon's guilty of the robbery and the break-in. And so they kidnapped her and put her in her apartment. And then she burned her hand deliberately. So they bring in a doctor, which is me. And if she would whisper in my ear, like, they're keeping me active here. And then I'm going, a lot of women your age suffer from delusions. This will pass. And then she realizes you're one of them. And she gives me this real hard look. It's a great scene. I love it. They used it for the trailer with hawked everywhere. But right after that, I auditioned for something called Winning Time.
It's really good.
Thank you. So Winning Time, I auditioned for it, and I got that. Unbelievable. My agent called me and said, are you sitting down? You got something everybody in town wanted to do. It's based on a guy, my part is based on a guy named Johnny Most, who was a Celtics announcer back in the 60s, 70s, 80s. And he had a hard life. He drank a lot. He smoked a lot. So I'm playing the part of 73. He was only 58 when he died. But I kind of look like him because, I quit doing all that stuff years ago. So he waved his arms a lot, and he talked rough, and he called people's names, and he was always getting people mad at him. They thought he hated him, but it was all an act. He admitted before he died it was all theatrical, and he was trying to get people to enjoy basketball again because they're getting bored with it. It was a little, bland. So, and he and Chick Hearn, everybody thought they hated each other. He was the Lakers guy, an announcer, and so they didn't. They used to have dinner after the show. So anyway, it was fun to play him, and you can see the reactions of people's. And I even worked in some improv stuff because I looked him up. I watched tape on him. I memorized his speeches, his mannerisms. I watched his interviews, and then I also went to famous quotes from famous people on the web, and I copied down all of his expressions, so they let me use some of them, and it's incredible. So.
Let me ask you this: which is easier? Is it easier to look at the script and create the character off the page, or is it easier to have this vault of stuff to go back and look at, where this is what he said, this is some of his mannerisms, this is his speech pattern? Which do you find easier? Is it easier to do that, or is it easier to have to do your version of him?
Well, I tell you, in this particular case, it was based on a real person. So I went back and watched tape on him first and tried to copy as much as I could. I didn't look exactly like him. So when I auditioned, I put the glasses on the end of my nose because he had a much bigger nose. But other than that, we were kind of similar. I can contort my face and become different people. I mean, anybody could do that. So I was, this sort of thing. And I was like, you think you're a hot dog? Oh, put some mustard on yourself. This sort of thing. And everybody thinks I've been a week, but they're the real jerks. And I do this sneer and I kind of a mad cackle. I throw my arms up in the air and hit the table. You ought to see this season, Jeff. My God, they gave me so many more lines.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this season I was in 3 episodes, so I'm recurring now, and then I look forward to next season. But it was so much fun. But anyway, what was I saying? To answer you, John, I think it's easier when you're doing a real person to watch them first, so you don't go astray and try to work up something that you have to unravel. Like Lawrence Olivier said, it's like putting on an onion or peeling an onion in reverse. You're putting the onion layers on yourself. So usually I work up my own idea of the character if it's a fantasy. There's a picture of it. So it doesn't even look like me because he's contorting, he's got a permanent sneer, kind of a chronic grump, but he's playing it. He's not really that grumpy, but he's playing it. So he's quite an actor. So anyway, I did the research, and a lot of people, I talked to them later that went up for it, said, how did you get it? Well, you got to study the character. You can't just show up and go, I'm going to do Johnny Mose. You have no idea how to do Johnny Mose. So it's a lesson for all of us. If you're doing a real character, you better get it right, because they know what you're supposed to do. Now, if it's a mythical character, you could do anything, and they'll choose the best one they like. But this particular one, I finally did something right after 40 years, and I got the role. And my agent called me and asked me if I was sitting down. She said, they cast you on the first read. You don't have to go up before producers. And the biggest casting director in town cast me, Lorraine Maisley or something like that. But wow. She's like the best one here. And somebody
Let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
I mean, interrupt. But I'm curious about this because I've been following the show. It's a really good show. And I was wondering, is there any behind-the-scenes things you could share, maybe a little story or something about those iconic characters that are being portrayed? Because you got Larry Bird and Michael Jordan and all that.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I nothing really, really crazy or anything. But I think some of them looked exactly like They the real, Larry Bird and Kareem Abdul and especially the guy who plays uh, Magic Johnson. So he looks almost exactly like Magic Johnson. So I was struck by that. I don't know how much I can tell out of school because they told us, no pictures, no, talking about it before it comes out. But some of it you'll be surprised. Are they really that tall? You're wondering. Are the actors really that tall? So anyway, I'll leave it at that. But I saw some things that opened my eyes a little bit. I can't really say too much, but the magic of movies, the magic of filmmaking, and some of these guys are really good. They're semi-pro, some were pro. They brought them from overseas, where they're playing in Poland and places like that, and so I had some really interesting discussions. Now I will tell you this: when I first got the set, I always check on who I'm acting with. And there was Adrian Brody, of course, and Michael Chiklis, and a guy named Spencer Garrett. Now, I wasn't familiar with him, and he's playing Chick Hearn. So I looked him up, and it blew my mind. He's the son of my first agent in Hollywood. But because we're supposed to hate each other, yeah, I mean, it blew my mind. But I wasn't going to let him know. Because the first day, I'm a method actor, I was giving him hard looks, glaring at him. I was milking the tension. And he the same. Like, oh, this guy really hates me. Screw you, son of a bitch. That sort of thing. But the day I couldn't, or the next day when I came back, I let him stew on that for a while. And then the next day, I said, oh, by the way, you're the son of my first agent. And he's this big beam, and all the hatred melted. But then we had to act, but the first day was real. And so you got some really good stuff there on the first day. But so anyway, so I'm back this season, and of course, I'm talking about season 1 last year, but season 2, everybody knew each other already. Same people were back, and I enjoyed the heck out of it. They have really good food. Oh, by the way, HBO was bought by Warner Brothers. So we're over there at Warner Brothers Studios. And man, do they feed well. Had some really good food. Fed me in my trailer. I'm not used to that Star treatment stuff.
No,
it's
lightheadedness.
Like and this one was like I had my own trailer and the whole bit, and they kind of isolated me, and they had people walk me to the set, and and I had assistants that went for things and did things for me. It's like, whoa, man, this and thank God I'm older because it doesn't make my head spin around. I think I'm somebody.
All the turkey you can eat.
It's just a fluke, It's just a miracle thing that happened, and I'm really appreciative of the whole thing. So, and then now I'm
you deserve it.
Oh God, thanks, Jim. It's been a 40-year struggle, I'll tell you. I had to work for everything. And wait do I tell you about Colorado? This is another thing. I auditioned for this thing called Let Me Sleep. It's about an old man who sleepwalks, right? And then I auditioned for this. I didn't hear back, for 6 months. I thought, well, I didn't get it. And then he called me back. I said, could you please come to Colorado and do this movie for us? It's like the co-starring role. Like, what? And it's about this guy at my age or older. And he walks around in his pajamas, walks across people's lawns and breaks into their houses somehow. And he gets in their living room and their kitchen and scares the hell out of them. And so finally they realized he's not sleepwalking. He's possessed. And I won't tell any more than that. But we were working all night from 10 at night till 6 in the morning and scaring the hell out of the neighbors. They called the police on us. And many, many times, police wouldn't do anything because we had permits. They blocked off the neighborhoods. It was in Colorado Springs, in an old neighborhood. They're all like 150-year-old houses. Beautiful houses. I was staying in one of them. That's where I lived. And they shot in there as well. So it was one of the most enjoyable experiences filmmaking I've ever had. And I had days free when I was awake and I could walk around and look at stuff, and just enjoyed the heck out of it. So look for that. And I guess you guys are far away from Colorado, but they'll probably have the premiere up there. So anyway, but so what were you saying, John? I'm sorry, kind of went over.
Remember, I'm going through this list here. You have 215 credits on IMDb and 30 upcoming credits.
Yeah, so it's 245. Actually, I have more than that, but they're not up yet. Some people won't put the IMDb up. I don't know why until they actually release it. So they're not even part of that 30. It's over 250, but I just see if I can make it to 300. I don't know.
I think you'll do that by March.
Yeah, I'm working on it, but I'm ready to do something recently with a guy named Lawrence Whitener. He's from the back east. I've worked with him on the Boris Karloff show, or the Carlos Borloff show, if you're familiar with him. Anyway, he turned it around. Anyway, I work with him, and he's an award-winning writer, won multiple awards, and he wants to work with me on a short film called Enclosure. And I won't tell you too much about it, but it's a guy who's kind of a stuffed shirt VIP executive, and he gets trapped in a phone booth. And that's all I'll say. But it's kind of a surrealistic, philosophical type thing, and everybody get a message out of it. Can't wait to do it. We'll do that in March. I'm also going to do another one with Sean C. Phillips called Desert Fiends, and can't wait to do that. I've done a lot with him. I've done a lot with James Balsamo, too. We're working on one called Jack Pepper. You know the cheese, Pepper Jack? Well, they turned that name around. Yeah. I'm Jack Pepper, Banshee Hunter. So I hunt banshees and kill them. And also I did something called Hollywood Werewolf. And it's with Andy Dick. So it's not coming out for a while. So, yeah, because Andy's getting in trouble. He's been a bad boy. So we got to cool it for a while before we can release that one. But it's a great movie. It's James Balsamo's the director. And then he's done a lot on Slice 1. I work with Eric Roberts on Slice 1 and 2, and also Julia Roberts' sister on Gaslit. Yeah. That's kind of a dual distinction. But anyway, I wasn't able to say too much to either one of them because they don't really get along. So I didn't say anything. Just kept it on the down low. But there's just so many. I can't even name them all. But I haven't seen hardly any of them. I did something with Joe Castro and his partner Steven. They did something called Terror Tunes. 4 is the fourth in the franchise. Yeah. So that's really a good one. That's kind of a blockbuster. Terror Tunes 4. So I've always wanted to work with him, and I didn't get in the first 3, but I finally got in the. I play an evil janitor, which is pretty spooky. But so I love playing the bad guys. They're more complex.
On the list here, you have, and I know you mentioned it before. Amityville Shark House, and then Amityville Bigfoot.
Yeah, both John C. Phillips.
Are they related? Will we see like a third one where Amityville Bigfoot versus Shark?
Yeah, they mate and they have little puppies, and very big teeth. No, and there's another one called Amityville Karen. I got in that one too. So that's kind of.
I saw that one. That one piqued my interest. The Amityville Karen. What can you give us a quick spoiler-free, NDA-free?
I know
what that is.
We're all kept in the dark. We weren't given the script. Just came in and here's your pages. 2 pages or whatever, an improv. So I did this, and then sometimes I do pretty big part and sometimes small. It doesn't really matter to me. I just enjoy doing it. So I play her plumber. She's seems to be a housewife that goes berserk and starts killing people. Is as much as I know. So it stars
That's interesting.
Lauren. Yeah, well, it is the way she does it. So each person's different. So it piques your interest. It really keeps you, intrigued throughout the whole thing. So I just did my part and left. So I didn't really. But some other people have told me what they experienced, and so it should be interesting. Um, so I've done that. I also did something else with her and Sean. They collaborated on things. They co-directed. So it's called Mistletoe Massacre. It was like a Christmas horror story. It's like what a combination, right? Why do horror stories all come out at Christmas? It's like the one time of the year you shouldn't have horror, but people do. So anyway, I went along with it. I'm with Carl Solomon. He and I are doing a lot together. And you probably know Carl, right? Because he's
Yeah.
kind of semi-famous all over the country. So he and I work together and play goofy characters. So I was in that one. I actually had a scene with Tom Sizemore in that, and so I get to do these things with these actors that have been really big in the past, and now they're stepping down a little bit and doing independence. And that's some of the fun of doing independence is you never know who you're going to be teamed with. I'd like to be working with Thomas Churchill in the future, a movie called Avenging Angel. They have this guy that looks a lot like. You remember the franchise about the guy that used to kill everybody and he passed away? Now, what was his name? He was in the thing about the people that were there's 7 guys that withstood the Mexican army and they all got killed. And who was that? The Magnificent Seven. He was in that.
Okay.
I can't remember his name, but this guy looks exactly like. So he hasn't really died, has he? If they get somebody who looks just like you, and then you live forever.
Charles Bronson, is that the one? The Charles Bronson one?
Yes, Bronson. Yeah. So these guys look alike. He's starring.
I'm looking at that poster, and I'm saying, wait a second, Charles Bronson is not with us anymore.
Exactly. Oh. I'm hoping that I'm going to be acting with a guy named Fred Williamson, who you see in Dusk Till Dawn, and black actor. Mm-hmm. He was a football player in the 60s and 70s, and he did a bunch of film. So he's really famous, and I'd love to work with him. And because I worked with Eric Roberts, and he looked at me and he goes, "You can act." He's so used to being with people that pay to be in the movie, not used to that. A fellow actor I seen, whoa. So because I won't pay to be in movies. But anyway, so I was in another one out of the blue. These guys called me and said, "Can you do this? It's the lead, and we're shooting in 2 days." And I looked at the script, and I said, "I'm sorry, fellas, but I can't." First time I ever turned down something like that. But I don't want to make a fool out of myself and them. So I said, "You better get somebody else. I'm sorry. That's just too not enough notice." So they did put me in the movie. I played a guy that got killed named Luigi. And so it's about 2 guys, hitmen that are really stupid. It's called Dumb Fellas. So, and Lance, and I forgot his last name again, but I've got to write these directors' names down. But I didn't know. Lance.
Holland.
Thank you. Yeah, Holland.
Yeah.
Lance Holland. And it was a lot of fun to do. And so they're doing all kinds of things. But I didn't even know these guys. And they plucked me out of nowhere. So it was quite a far distance, but I went over and did it. And then Staycation with Russell Emanuel. And work with him before we go back quite a ways. And that's going to be a winner, too. So I can't wait to see that come out. I play this rancher, and I work with a guy from Florida, and we did a scene together. And he's kind of a brutish, big thug of a guy. And I can't say too much about it, but it's quite a great couple of scenes. So and then Night of the
Yeah, I'm looking
Zombies.
forward to that one.
Yeah, well, I haven't bought it because it's out now with Will Colazzo from New York
Mhm.
and Sean P. Phillips, and that was kind of an interesting story. I don't know if I should tell you about that or not, but it just
No,
was.
go ahead. I want to hear.
Well, I don't want to get in trouble with anybody, but
Oh, well, don't get in trouble. Yeah.
Nobody watches this dumb show anyway.
but, well, I'm going to advertise it, but anyway. It was done, in a way that I guess they couldn't find use for me right away, and maybe not at all. So I was a little upset, and I was there 3 days and hadn't worked, and I paid for my way, hotel room, the whole bit in Las Vegas. And I finally went to Sean. I said, "Is there any way you can get some B-roll on me?" So we created our own scene, and they put it in the movie. So yeah, I mean, it's really good. He said, "That's an Academy Award performance you just did," because I started crying. I was so angry and frustrated, I burst into tears. And I used it because I'm looking for my granddaughter, who's Chalet Brannon. I don't know if you've ever heard of her.
Sweet little girl.
Yeah, so I'm looking for her and can't find her, and everybody's been killed except for us two. And so that's kind of a spoiler anyway, but the Zomgols are out to, and so so anyway, it's a great scene. So I'm going to try to use it for a demo reel. And pull it out. I already asked him if I could do it. He says, yeah. So, and then I did something called Dusk Till Bong. It was a satire on Dusk Till Dawn. Dusk Till Bong. And we did that in Las Vegas. James Paul Sommel.
Say that title again.
From Dusk Till Bong. B-O-N-G. Yeah, there you go. So, and then I did another one called Death by Jelly Beans here locally. Guy named Rob Forbes, I think. Robert Forbes. So
what's that one about?
Well,
besides Jelly Beans.
Now, is that an Easter movie?
Yeah, it's actually a lot more sinister and evil and horrible than it sounds. It's a horror movie, but it's about a guy. Have you watched that thing about? Is it called Succession? It's about a very rich family. All right. Well, I play that guy, the old man with the goatee, the whole bit. And so I have some stupid sons, and I'm not going to leave the fortune to them. And this guy comes and applies for a job, and I kind of take a liking to him. He's just some dumb kid but I like his spunk. And so we have great scenes together. And then he asked me back, and he said, "Okay, you die, right?" Because I die. And then I come back as a ghost and visit him. And so I did several scenes as that. So I'm throughout the movie here and there. And I really enjoyed it because I play this real rough and tough guy, So I enjoy playing these different, aspects of myself because I always think of myself as Mr. Vanilla, but I can play anybody. I said, just give me a chance. I did this years ago in Alabama in this movie. I can't even remember the name of the movie, but I played this drill sergeant, and everybody's saying, "You're the drill sergeant," because I can't. Right now, my mind's not working very well. But anyway, so I play this evil drill sergeant, and everybody thinks I'm the killer. It's a fat camp for 600-pound people. I was surrounded by fat people, and I said, "Well, wait till tomorrow. You're going to cry." He said, "Oh, yeah, right, blow you." Just baloney. So the next day, they're all crying because I became this son of a bitch, really evil, because I was in the military 22 years. And some of my chiefs and boot camp and on my ship were that evil. So I became them. I can channel people. And so I just, I can play just about anybody and use real emotion doing it. So that's one of my mantras.
That's what
acting. Yeah, just never fake it, feel it. And because otherwise the audience is going to tell the difference and pull back. They don't buy it. You got to become the character and feel their real emotion. So
well, that's
it's
one of the things
exhausting.
I like about your acting was because you bring something to the part that I have not seen in a very long time. Like we're talking old school Hollywood, the golden era. There was a lot of that, and you're bringing it and kicking it up an extra notch. That I'm just blown away when I see you act.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I've always felt that way. When I first took my first acting lesson in an acting class, I did a scene and I started crying for real because I can't. I wear my emotions on my sleeve. If something is bothering me, I cry. And so I looked around the room when I finished, and there wasn't a dry eye in the room. And I thought, damn, I want to keep doing it. I mean, not just make everybody cry, but make people feel. That's why they go to the movies to vicariously feel, because they're emotionally constipated in their real life. Everybody got this stone. It's like, I'm a tough guy. You're not going to bother me, and everybody pretends that nothing bothers them, and inside they're seething, right? Yep. So I'm going to let you vent by watching me bring my emotions out, and then you can do it too. I sat next to Steve Martin once in the back of the theater. He started crying. And so that's amazing. I thought, my God, there's another person who really feels emotion. He was watching, he and his girlfriend at the time, I guess they separated, so he was very upset about it. Bernadette Peters. But so, yeah. And then I'm going to do another one with Daniel Emery Taylor, who I've worked with. By the way, this movie is called Fat Chance, and that I was the drill sergeant in. And it's a wonderful movie. If you get a chance to see it, even though I don't like the title, it's called Camp Massacre now.
Okay.
Daniel didn't have a choice. The distributor said, I'm going to change it. And he said, okay. He needed the money, I guess. But so now I told Daniel, you got to get it back and change the name because that will sell it by itself. Fat Chance. It's all about really very obese people in a fat camp, and then they all start dying, and they're all thinking that I'm the one. But
yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier about the rights. I hate that some creative people, because of money, they give up their rights, and then now you're at the mercy of those with the cash.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do something called Foxglove Candy, and I'm going to play one of these very effete artistic people who hires a hooker, and she comes in and has her way with me, and then it doesn't end too well. That's all I'll say. But it's a great scene. I've worked up my accent, my mannerisms, a whole bit, because again, this is up to me to do. But John, we all met by Zoom, the three of us, the director and the two actors, and worked up the scene. And they enjoyed my accent, but they want me to pull it back just a little bit because it's way over the top. But Daniel told me, you can be as crazy as you want, and I'll tweak you later. But he does. Now I know what direction to go in. But it should be a great scene. It's all about older men and young prostitutes, and so it should be pretty good. So
every once in a while I'll get a notification on Facebook that you've added something to your stories or uploaded a new video, and I've noticed a lot of them are music. Have you always played an instrument, or is that something new that you're starting to learn to do, or just experimenting? And
I started at the age of 8. My sister was playing piano, and the teacher would come to the house. In those days, people would come. The doctor would come, the piano teacher, whatever. Nowadays, you're lucky if you get it online. But so she came, and my sister was going through the teenager's years, and rebellious. She said, I'm not taking any more lessons. Get out of here. So the teacher looked at my mother and said, you already paid for it. how about your son over there? I was 8 years old. She says, yeah, okay. So I started at 8. I became a concert pianist at 12, and I took to it like a duck to water. And I used to play performances all over town. And we used to have something called a bonfire. I don't know if they had it in your city, but they'd build a big bonfire on Friday night, and all the cars would surround it, and then you'd have a stage in the middle. And if they liked your performance, they'd honk. And if they didn't like it, they'd run over you. No, I'm just kidding. It wouldn't. But anyway, I used to perform for them, and then my mother started dating after my father's death. A few years later, she dated a music salesman. He sold pianos and organs. So I learned the organ, and I played organ all over California, demonstrating his organs, and I'd play at festivals and stuff. So I became a jazz organist, and then I used to play internationally, different like Wurlitzers, and I played every type of organ there is. And big theater type organs, that you see in cathedrals, the whole thing. So, and then I had a 3-manual and a 2-manual organ. I still have one in my garage, and I have 2 pianos in my house. And so I decided that during COVID, why not, entertain people, because everybody's cooped up. So it's kind of started a trend, because Daniel Lloyd Webber, Daniel, whatever his name is, he started doing it. And then some other musicians started doing it. And I thought, wow, this is cool. And then they put me with them. There's a special page that all these musicians and actors, well-known actors share. So I thought, this is cool. So I started with that, and then I just decided to put some of my acting stuff up there too. Mm-hmm. And it looks like
I was blown away, especially when you did Somewhere in Time. That I forgot the name of that piece.
Yeah, that's gone a lot of places. That was one of my better days, I guess. But some days, excuse me, it's like I got to adjust this camera because I'm slipping into the floor. Yeah, that's better. That was just my head was going.
There you are.
So anyway,
I just thought you shrunk.
Yeah.
Joining us now is G. Larry Butler. We were just chatting with G. Larry's hairline for about a half an hour. And
yeah, well, maybe my eyes. You can see I'm a mystery guest. What's my line?
Yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I just
other than music, you've also I guess you would call it dramatic reading.
Oh yes,
and we last week we did Jeff and I we talked about Chat GPT and how you can just put a prompt into this AI machine and it'll just spout out and give you whatever it is you're looking for. And I would say with 95 to 98% accuracy, sound like it's an actual person. So Jeff had loaded up it was a poem. What was the poem that you asked it to do, Jeff?
Oh, to write a poem about the Geek and I podcast with John and Jeff. And then I sent it to G. Larry here that read over it, and he pointed out something to me that I saw originally. It didn't quite mesh. It was like, I think, one line, right?
One line, and then maybe a couple of words that I changed to make it flow better. But it has the same rhyme scheme as before. So not much is different. I changed maybe 2 words and 1 phrase. But basically, I was impressed. When you told me it was AI, I thought, wow, they've come a long way. So I'll read it for you.
Thank you.
I printed it out, as you can see here.
I appreciate your...
I'm having trouble with my computer. It says my hard drive is low. God, I hope we don't get it. But anyway, here it is. It's called It's The Geek and I. The Geek and I, a podcast so grand, with John and Jeff, a duo in demand. Their love for tech is truly divine. Their humor and wit totally align. From hardware to software, they never miss a beat. Their discussion insightful and always a treat. They bring a new spin to the world of tech. Their passion and knowledge simply earns our respect. They make the complex simple and easy to understand. Their chemistry is real and never, ever bland. Listeners tune in from everywhere all around to learn and be entertained and hear their geeky sound. So here's to John and Jeff, the great dynamic duo. Their show's a must listen for tech fans and more too. Keep sharing your knowledge with all of the masses. The Geek and I, a podcast that truly surpasses.
Bravo. That was really good.
Oh, thanks. It was just all my acting training. But it's really well written. There's just a couple of places, but this is a robot doing this, so kudos to the robot. Yeah, it's amazing.
Here's to you, Mr. AI.
Well, I mean, it's great. It distills the essence of you guys because you're really doing a great public service. You talk about things that people haven't the foggiest idea what it is, and you kind of dismantle it and put it back together, and people learn from that. And that's what we
I was surprised. We did our podcast about AI, and now it's a big thing that talking about the national news this last few days.
Yeah, you're on the vanguard of things. You talk about it before it's even a trend, and I've heard it in a couple other places that they're discussing kind of the dangers of it. People are wary of it, but also how great it can be for us too. So it could be a double-edged sword.
What are your personal thoughts on AI?
Mine, be careful, because like I said, it's a double-edged sword. One, it's a great tool. Another thing, you can hurt yourself, or it can hurt us. So, I remember the series Westworld, where the robots all killed the humans. They realize, hey, they're trying to program us. Well, let's program ourselves and eliminate them. We don't need them. They develop a consciousness, kind of a spark. If that ever happens, we're doomed. But hopefully we can contain it and not allow that to happen. So
yeah.
We probably won't even be alive when that happens, all of us, in another 30, 40 years. But
you never know. I mean, it could be the way technology moves nowadays. It could be 6 months from now, and then all of a sudden, the AI is built into your refrigerator.
Yeah.
And it's talking to you like it's like that commercial with the guy from Saturday Night Live. Is it Keenan? From Keenan and Kel, where he's like, yeah, well, talking to his refrigerator about making ice.
Yeah, it reminds me of that movie where open the pod doors, Hal. I'm afraid I can't do that, Keenan. You're gonna have to starve tonight. So yeah, real problems with that. So we already have things that run around and clean the carpet, and those little robot vacuum cleaners, and now they're going to have self-driving cars. I will never have one, but I mean, so they're going to probably put it in everything. So
I don't have that kind of trust to be in a car where a robot's driving. That's just a me thing.
It's really weird to see one of these little things like a Grubhub machine going down by itself. These little carts.
You seen those?
Yeah.
I've seen those going down the sidewalk and people step out of the way. But I'm thinking, how long will it take for somebody to realize I could hijack this thing, and get all the food and all the money and just pick it up and walk off with it? You're going to have to make it, self-defensive so it can do something to whoever does that. But
then it turns into that robot with all the machine guns like in RoboCop.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. We'll probably have those. There's a shortage of cops now. They're declining because They did too much responsibility and all the culpability, and people are suing them and they're firing them and putting them in prison for trying to do their job. And I'm not saying that some of them don't deserve it, but it's scaring the police force. So they're leaving in droves. So they're probably going to have a robo force or something. And I don't know if that's good, because you can't discuss, you can't argue, you can't talk to a robot. It's their way or the highway.
But I tell you what, though, AI makes some pretty pictures. Me and John were playing with that end of it.
Well, yeah, I just typed into Chat GPT and or GP
right now
or whatever. I just did it right now, and I said, write a script in the style of Star Wars.
Wow!
And there it is. That's what it came up with. Interior: a dark, mysterious cavern. Day. A figure wrapped in a hooded cloak enters the cavern, holding a glowing sword. The figure is Luke Skywalker, a young Jedi in search of a powerful artifact. Luke, whispering to himself, the map to the artifact is said to be hidden in this cavern. I must be careful. The Sith are always watching. Enter Darth Vader, a powerful Sith Lord accompanied by 2 stormtroopers. Vader, so we meet again, young Skywalker. Luke, Darth Vader, I will not let you have the artifact. I mean, right there, it's you have you within 10 seconds I've written a movie.
Wow. That is amazing.
There goes my job.
My God.
It's and then you watch this guy, and he goes in, and if you give it certain things to use this as a basis, use this, and then you say, do you understand? And it'll say, yes, I understand. And then okay, now do it in iambic pentameter. Do you understand?
Right.
Yes, I understand. And then do it in the vein in the style of such and such. Do you understand? Yes, I understand. And then you tell it what to do. It is a lot more accurate than just typing in, write me a poem. So it's, and people.
So once you establish yourself,
they're making you can write, like, say you have code for something that for a program, and you can't figure out how to do it. You just type in, find the error in this code, and the AI goes in and fixes it.
Oh, wow.
That's all that.
Brave new world.
It is, and scary. I'm ready to. You know what? The next flight to Mars, I might ask Elon for a ticket, because
take all the robots with you to Mars. You'll be surrounded.
But there's one thing that AI cannot do, and that's you, G. Larry, to reproduce that acting skill that you have.
You can reproduce a person who's already dead. Like John Wayne, they'd have the hologram thing. The singer, one of the singers the other night, I saw him, was like, I thought he was dead. Well, it was just his hologram. So it's just amazing. Every year you think, what could be new now? We've done it all. No, we haven't. Another generation of stuff pops up.
Right.
It never stops. So we're going to be mystified forever. I don't know. It must be alien technology. We're reverse engineering everything.
Well, see, we always want to know what's going on in Area 51. Now we know.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, the future is ours, I guess, or theirs.
Well, it's not for our children anymore, so they're going to have a tough time. So teach your kids now how to fix a hole in a pair of jeans, because
exactly they're going to be survivalists. Send them to survival school.
Yeah.
They'll have to be,
Terminator and RoboCop will be required learning in the future.
Yeah.
This is how you survive. So, well, G. Larry, I want to thank you for your time. It is always, always awesome to speak to you about, all your 300 credits, and we look forward to hanging out again soon. Hopefully, in say the short future, you guys, if there's another Western, this is Texas. Doesn't get
Yeah.
more Western than that. So
That's true.
come
Yeah,
on,
I'll talk more about it.
and we'd love to hang out and talk with you anytime you want to come on. Send us a message. We'll take care of it. If there's something you want to promote, just shoot us an email, and we'll get together and take care of you. Anything you'd like to say before we wrap this up tonight?
Oh God, just thank you so much for having me. I feel the same way about you guys. It's just a wonderful conversation we have, and very comfortable setting. And you guys are so knowledgeable about so many things, and it's nice to share some of the things I know about. But I don't really have anything other than what I just told you. Just look for some of those things I mentioned in the future to come out, some of the movies, and most of them are really good.
Now, if someone wanted to reach out to you to put you in their movie, let's just say Yellowstone or one of those type of westerns, how would they be able to reach out to you? Is there a 1-800?
Yeah, you can reach me through Facebook, public domain or whatever it's called. I'm not private, so you can just message me, or you can email me. Let's see, GEELARRY 64 at yahoo.com. GLarry64 at yahoo.com. So you could do it that way.
So once Kevin Costner's character's gone, they'll put you in, and you're a shoo-in for the new Yellowstone.
Yeah, sure. I'm willing to do anything. I'm retired, so all I have to do is hop on a jet, and I'm there. Some years I'm like a ping pong. I go all over the United States.
Right.
We
were just talking today. Somebody at my my day gig that we're both really big Yellowstone fans, and
Oh yeah,
it's just like, Kevin Costner's quitting. I said, well, Matthew McConaughey's pretty good. It's and then I started to embellish a little bit, and I said, yeah, the new Yellowstone, it's kind of like it's new spinoff, takes place in the future. It's 2389, and Montana has had an eruption of an underground volcano, and the whole state is launched into space. And now the Yellowstone is protecting the Earth, orbiting the Earth, protecting it from alien invaders. And so, I'm thinking here, in the future, you could play, because there's also rumors that Cole Hauser is quitting. So you could play future Rip.
I'm game. Sign me up. So I love that series. I just started watching it, and we're binge watching it now. So I really enjoy it. I have to go back and see the first episodes, but I'm willing to do just about anything, and no frontal nudity, but that's about it. Everything else, without reason, of course. But I've had some really challenging roles, but I got through it okay, and willing to do a lot more. So, life's short.
Yeah,
you're welcome.
See if you can audition for season 2 of Tulsa King, so you can go film up in Oklahoma, and we can drive up and say hi.
All right, will do. I'll tell my agent. Tulsa King. I haven't seen any of that yet. So
that's really good.
It is awesome. Yeah, that's Stallone, Sylvester Stallone. Yeah, it's good.
No, I'm a big fan. He did it his way, so
That's
I
it.
enjoy his performances.
Well,
Anyway,
we really appreciate your time, Jeff. You have anything you want to say? Anything coming up on your on the Collector's Zone?
Well, I went back and did The Dazed, another little video with Leonard Nimoy talking about the Laserdisc player by Magnavox. A lot of people seem to enjoy that, but I'm still got some more stuff I'm working on that'll be out soon. Just my timing is really, I've been really super busy. But yeah, keep it on this Collector's Zone.
Yeah, and as far as the Geek and I channel, we are. I was actually going to do an unboxing video today of something that was delivered, but it was actually a set of dishes that my wife had ordered from QVC, and it wasn't what I was hoping for. But I didn't think
Unboxing dishes. That's new.
it was.
yeah, sure, with this
Exciting. I don't know.
might be an interesting design.
Yeah.
So,
So, well, we really appreciate your time, G, and
Yeah.
We can't wait to talk to you again.
likewise.
And,
So hopefully Jeff and I will be doing something called Harvest Moon in the future, if we can get it off the ground. So
That has a good cast tied to it.
okay, great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Sean.
Thank
And
you.
Jeff-
Thank you, sir. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell notifications so you know when the next episode hits. And we'll see you next time on the Geek and I podcast. We are going to be heading down to Allen, Texas, to the Retro Expo. Some great guests this time. Who's going to be there, Jeff, this week? This show.
I remember Lance from Lake Erie. He's going to be down there.
Oh, right. Lance Heinrichsen. Yep. And,
Yeah.
And of course, Don Bluth.
And from
and Larry Butler.
Yeah, I remember Lance. I enjoyed his performance quite. I was in that, but just briefly. And like to do some
And look
more.
where he now on HBO. Season 3 coming up.
Wow. Cool. Okay.
you can check out G Larry Butler on what is it called? Winning
Time.
Time. And is that on the HBO Max?
The Rise of the Lakers Dynasty.
Is
It's
that
about that in the 80s with Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all the rest. Larry Bird is on the Celtics, of course. And I played Johnny Most, the announcer for the Celtics.
and we can get that on the HBO Max app.
Yeah. So it's they just got bought by Warner Brothers. So hopefully we'll see another season at least, and maybe
That'd be
more.
awesome. Well, thank you, guys. We will talk to you again next time. And for those of you who've watched the program, we appreciate it. Have a good night, and thank you for watching the Geek and I podcast. We'll catch you next time.
All right.